Welcome back, fight fans and family. Once again, it's the man Stan, and you watching Stan on Business Boxing. So, it's a good day for boxing, man, but it's a sad day if you a Frank Martin fan, because I know I'm hurting. I'm a Frank Martin fan. Just got through watching the interview on the Queens of the Ring. If you don't know what the Queens of the Ring are, they are some people that are stationed out of Dallas. They do a lot of interviews with Dallas fighters coming out of Dallas, boxers coming out of Dallas. And so we know that one of the people that are stationed up in Dallas right now is the guy, Frank Martin. Exceptional talent, great boxer. But most of all, he was slated to fight Shakur Stevenson. He was slated to fight Shakur Stevenson earlier this year. Not the fight was going to take earlier this year, but they had negotiations that fell out earlier this year. Like I said, man, Frank Martin has been the guy that everybody wants to talk to because Shakur Stevenson has been very vocal about his side of the negotiation, how the fight fell apart. And like I said, he had all the words in the world for Frank Martin. Sad to say, some of them words were the right phrasing. Some of those words were the right thing to say. Now, that I still don't agree that he didn't keep the same energy for Lomachenko ducking the fight. Frank Martin, it looks like Frank Martin is the guy that let this fight fall apart. A lot of problems with what he said in the Queens of the Ring interview for me. And I'm going to break it down for you guys. So, without further ado, let's get started. They jumped right into the meat and potatoes of why he was on this interview and why they asked him to come on. And that's to see, man, your side of the story. Why did the Shakur Stevenson fight fall apart? In a nutshell, it fell apart because Frank felt like he was being undervalued as the B-side. They were not giving him enough money to fight a talent like Shakur Stevenson. But there are a few things to point out in his reasoning for walking away for the fight. Quote unquote, Shakur did talk to him personally. He talked to him personally and told him how much money he was getting to fight him. Shakur Stevenson said that he was getting $3 million to fight Frank Martin. And Frank Martin would get $1 million. The reason why Frank Martin walked away from that money is because he felt like that if Shakur Stevenson was getting $8 million to fight Devin Haney for undisputed, then the pot being $32 million, with Devin Haney getting the rest of the 24. That's 25%, right? Shakur Stevenson disproved that he was getting $8 million on $1 million worth of game. Frank Martin walked away from this fight because he felt that Shakur Stevenson was not being truthful with him when he told him how much money he was getting. He thought he was capping. There's a few things wrong, and I'm very upset we did not get this fight. People seem to think that since Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford negotiated with two fighters, that blueprint can be followed for future fights. This is the problem with that. You get things like what just happened. The fallout with Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. Had both promo teams of each fighter, being PBC and Top Rank, sat each fighter down at the table and brought forth contractually transparent financials, we would not be here. All they had to do is send over the financials that Top Rank was bringing forth. Instead of that, we got these guys talking in Twitter. And Frank Martin, believing something that wasn't even true, walked away from one of the most anticipated fights of this year. And it's very painful because at the end of the day, I know, and a lot of people out there know, that Frank Martin would definitely fight a Shakur Stevenson. You cannot go off what you hear off a podcast and bring it back to a pro boxing highest level event. That the Boxing Voice interview was disproved about Shakur Stevenson on $1 million worth of game. He flat out came out and said that was a lie. So Frank Martin believing something that not even Shakur Stevens' manager said, his son said on a podcast, taking it out of context, believed that that Shakur Stevens was lying to him about how much money he was getting. And so now we have Edwin De Los Santos versus Shakur Stevenson for the WBC strap later on this year, which is still a good fight. But we were robbed of an extraordinary event we could have saw. The dark horse of the lightweight division versus one of the three kings. This highlights and this shines a light on the greenness around Frank Martin. He has to be prepared and taught how to move as a professional fighter moving forward, or he will miss out on a lot of opportunities. They also asked him, does he think that the contract that they sent over for him was the same contract that they sent to Edwin De Los Santos? He said he doesn't know, but I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say, I believe wholeheartedly that it was the same exact contract that they sent Frank Martin. And Edwin De Los Santos jumped over it in a heartbeat. Why? Because he probably did not do any personal negotiating with Shakur Stevens. He probably let his team, being PBC, handle it. So now, Frank is left without a fight, and Shakur Stevenson is able to fight along with Edwin De Los Santos for the WBC strap of lightweight division, coming on later this year. Got to do better, Frank. I'm still your fan, man, but this is on you. And as a man, I have to come out and say that I was wrong about a lot of the things that Shakur Stevenson said. Me personally, I still don't agree with his energy as far as like not keeping the same energy across the board for people that don't look like you and other young American fighters. Frank Martin made a good point in the interview. He said we should not stop tearing down each other. That's why he's not been going back and forth with Shakur Stevenson. But Frank, you dropped the ball. And this also shows a problem with Man Down Promotions, Errol Spence, and PBC. Tell this man that you can easily get the financials contractually transparent. If he did not believe Shakur Stevenson, fair enough, but don't walk away from the fight. Let your team work it out and see if he's telling the truth. But that's that on that. Sad day to be a Frank Martin fan, but it's okay, man. He gonna bounce back. He gonna get a good fight. He was looking at Williams and Payton. He said that'll be a good fight he wants later on this year. How easily that's gonna come, I don't know, because he was top ranked, but we'll see. But hope you guys tune into the Hitchens versus Zepada fight today and the Zhang versus Joyce 2 rematch. Looking forward to that. I'm going here get some of this weight move before I sit down and watch some good boxing. Once again, it's the man Stan, and you watching Stand on Business Boxing. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to run it back soon. Peace.